How do you go about pronouncing its name? Yahweh. Yah-way. You do want to stress on the first syllable. Yahweh. Did you get it? Let me know in the comments. Yahweh.
الرحمن الرحيم الملك القدوس السلام المؤمن المهيمن العزيز الجبار المتكبر الفتاح العليم القابض الباسط الخافض الرافع المعز المذل السميع البصير الحكم العدل اللطيف الخبير الحليم.
It was at this moment that he knew he fucked up.
That there are many names, thousands of names that God has.
العظيم الغفور الشكور العلا الكبير.
What they do know is God has one unique name. You don't have to laugh about this. This is what every Jew knows. You can ask them. God has one unique name, which is holy. It is Yod-Ha-Weh-Ha, also today known as Yahweh or Yehovah. This name is holy. This name shall not be frequently used. In order to avoid using this name, you can use titles, honorific titles like El, Eloh, God, or Adonai, Lord, or certain other titles, which are not God's name. They are simply titles in order to refer to him in an honorific way. In the same way, according to the Abrahamic belief, to the biblical belief, God's name from the very beginning to the very end is Yahweh, and he makes himself known as God or as Lord and so on to different people.
He follows you wherever you go.
One of your victims, I guess.
Like all these guys, like, mute him for a second. So let me just say something, guys. I thought that he was gonna show up, but it's funny. Like these guys are so like psychologically troubled because they can't. Like the first opportunity that they get to come and talk to me, they jumped at it. Quickly want to get a rematch on a debate. And I'm just over it. Like, okay, you know, the debate happened. You think that you did a good job and you won. Okay, whatever.
Well,
I've moved on. Like I have other more interesting people to talk to and debate with. I don't need to like rehash these arguments that clear, like from what Harris said, he doesn't even understand like the basic things.
Yeah, Daniel, I don't want to burst, sorry, your bubble. Your arguments, Daniel, are moronic. Okay, you are a moron. First of all, you are an Islamist. The smartest Islamist is a complete moron. But you are a special case, Daniel. Okay, nobody makes your arguments. And then nobody thinks that he wins debate with this kind of arguments. Guys, let's see with what kind of arguments this idiot thinks still now that he won this debate.
Do you believe that slavery is an ideal system? Do you believe that there should be slaves in a society? Do you think slavery is okay?
Yeah, I mean, slavery is something that I do not find to be immoral. Is there really a fundamental difference between wage labor and slave labor? Is there a difference between owning someone versus renting someone? Renting someone is worse because think about the difference between owning a car and renting a car. When you rent a car, you drive it, you know, in a very abusive kind of way, as opposed to owning it where that's your investment, you care about it. Anyway, so that's something that's uncomfortable for people who are raised in the West. The legal concepts underlying slavery exist within the employer-employee contract of wage labor. In many cultures, there's not really a difference between saying that person A, like Ridvan, owns George. Okay, that's a slave relationship. Ridvan owns George. There's not really a difference between that and saying that George has a contractual obligation to Ridvan.
Daniel, in the real world, outside the Islamist bubble, outside your friends Ali Dawa, Mohammed Hijab, in the real world, Daniel, someone making this statement, there is an ambulance outside of his door to take him to a mental institute, Daniel. Daniel, let me repeat that. Someone saying slavery is better than employment and giving an example comparing people with cars, not just he doesn't win this debate, there is an ambulance outside his door waiting to take him to a mental institute. Daniel, that's how good are your arguments. You are a complete moron. Complete. Okay. You are, okay, I don't want to say, because last time I said this word, a viewer of mine complained, and he was right. I shouldn't use words with mental health issues. But you have mental health issues, Daniel. You are not well, my friend. Okay. Islam corrupted your brain in limits of mental health issues. You don't have a problem with argument. You have a mental health issue. You don't need debates. You need a psychiatrist, Daniel. Okay? No, you didn't win this debate, Daniel. You embarrass yourself, Daniel. You are an embarrassment not of intellectualism, of humanity. Okay? A person who says slavery is better than employment is a subhuman. You are not qualified to be a human. Okay? Because that's not just mentally, that's also, intellectually, that's also morally. You are a monster, Daniel. You are a subhuman. Okay, Daniel, winning debates. Winning debates.
Even in that situation, the world would be a better place if instead of nukes, chemical warfare, biological warfare, constant mass surveillance from intelligence agencies, warrantless wiretapping, all of this on one hand, and a world that has slavery. And a world that has slavery. Which one is better? And there's a lot to say about slavery being the better world. The world that's lower tech but has slavery.
Not for the slave. No, not really. Not for the slave.
It's not great for the guy who's being nuked. It's not great for the guy that's being burned alive with chemical weapons, with biological weapons. It's not great for those victims of Agent Orange, those children born with these kinds of huge heads.
I would rather be nuked. I would rather be nuked than be a slave.
You shameless idiot. Haqiqatjou just made a false dichotomy. How old are you? How old are you? Are you... Age doesn't matter. Okay, okay. Look what this guy said. He made a false dichotomy. What is worse, slavery or nuclear warfare? What? Why? So let me get that straight. Either we adopt Islamic slavery, either there is a nuclear warfare. Why? God damn it. Okay, please tell us your psychopathology.
Someone for 20 years. I would rather be nuked than be enslaved for someone for 30 years.
Then be killed by a nuclear weapon.
Yeah, I'd rather be killed than be a slave.
Okay.
Then be a slave, yes.
That's really logical.
That's so easy.
So, gentlemen, I do want to...
First of all, that is logical. Okay. Freedom is higher than life, my friend. First of all. How many people die for freedom in the Second World War? Freedom, my friend, is higher than life, first of all. Secondly, why you made this dichotomy? Either we adopt Islamic slavery, either we have nuclear warfare. What are you talking about, my friend? What drugs are you taking? Please tell us. Okay, let's continue.
Transition.
So why do you live in the US? Why does he not go to Afghanistan or Syria to fight for ISIS or Taliban? Haqiqatjou is only a literalist and honest as long as he is sitting in his nice suburban home in America watching Muslim apologists debate on 70-inch TVs. You had the perfect opportunity to go to Syria or Afghanistan to fight for your cause, but you chose to sit in your nice house in America.
There's no obligation at all times to fight jihad, and there's no obligation at all times to take slaves or sex slaves. This is a complete misrepresentation. Harris needs to study Islamic law and fiqh because he's clearly ignorant. Nowhere have I endorsed ISIS or said that, yeah, they're the true representation of Islam. So it's a complete straw man. But I just want to make one other point. Why don't you, Harris, you want me to get off my backside and go to Afghanistan while that country is being bombed and being threatened by the United States, just getting out of a 20-year brutal occupation with thousands of deaths and rapes? Why don't you tell your followers, Harris, all these followers that you have in Pakistan and India, all these Murtads like you, tell them to move to Botswana. Why don't you tell them to move to Botswana? Tell them to move to Haiti, because Botswana and Haiti, they have LGBT rights, they have women's rights. Why are they in Muslim countries? You should tell them to move to Botswana and Haiti. And in fact, it would be a more favorable position than Muslims moving to Afghanistan, because if your followers move to Botswana, Pakistan wouldn't bomb Botswana. Pakistan wouldn't try to agitate in Botswana and try to get them to adopt Sharia or Islamic law. They would be able to live their free lives with human rights and LGBT rights and women's rights. Why don't you do that, Harris? Is it because you're a con man? Is it because you're dishonest? You're not telling your followers in none of your videos, hey guys, human rights are great. Move from a Muslim country like Pakistan or Bangladesh and go to Botswana and Haiti.
The Botswana question. Guys, as I said, every argument this idiot made is outrageously wrong. Okay. So should I show now the Botswana? Haqiqatjou? God damn it. Okay, let's see now his Botswana argument. How good that was. Guys, no, I don't have time. I will have the link in the description. The Botswana embarrassment. Okay, see how embarrassing was this argument. He presented a success story because of democracy. A country in Africa, guys, that had nothing. 70% of this country is desert. Although they have nothing, because of democracy, it's one of the best countries in Africa, as we speak. Okay, it's a heaven of human rights, tourism, a success story. And this idiot praised Brunei, an Islamist hellhole.
The highest human development index of continental sub-Saharan Africa.
Botswana, an African country, is doing very well because of human rights and democracy. It's got one of the world's fastest growing economy, and it's got a thriving, flourishing tourism industry. And although having nothing, 70% of Botswana, guys, is the Kalahari Desert. 70% of the country is a desert. Yet, because of human rights and democracy, it's doing very well. It's growing. Contrast that with Brunei, who is in Southeast Asia, that although it's a rich country because of Islam, not because of Islam, because it was happened again to be born on top of a treasure. It's an oil-rich country, so Brunei is an oil-rich country. So although it is rich, let's see now how Brunei is doing. Guys, I put in YouTube the word Brunei, and this video was the first that popped up.
almost as if they don't know they're living in such a dark regime. Or maybe they ignore it. In any case, it's safe to say that I will not be returning to Brunei anytime soon, and if you guys are planning to go, then I would advise you to think twice.
But wait, according to Haqiqatjou, we should salute the Sultan of Brunei and his 200 Rolls Royce. We should salute. Also, we should visit for tourism Brunei. Isn't that what he advised at the end of this article? Haqiqatjou, you are totally exposed, my friend, for the charlatan that you are. Shame on you. You charlatan. Okay. In one hand, you accuse Botswana, a thriving democracy, that because of democracy, it's got tourism without having anything. They are doing well. In a country 70% desert, and you accuse them as your KO argument against democracy and human rights. And on the other hand, you praised a ruthless dictator that keeps his people in poverty. Shame on you, you shameless buffoon. Okay, totally exposed. If I was in your place, I would have taken down my video, but you don't, my channel, I mean. But you don't have any shame, my friend. You are a shameless Islamist. Thank you very much.
You never say that. So you're a hypocrite. You are a con man.
Okay, are you done now? Are you done now? I think you are done now. Okay. First of all, Afghanistan was destroyed by your ideology, radical Islam, attacking the Twin Towers in New York. So, your ideology, radical Islam, brought the destruction, forced the reaction of USA against Afghanistan. So, your ideology, the ideology you espouse, brought the destruction of Afghanistan. That's one thing. Secondly, what Harry Sultan is saying is that even Muslims like you, prefer countries with human rights. That's why we see all this immigration. So, Muslims like you, like yourself, prefer countries with human rights. And that's a true point. On the other hand, not even Muslims prefer countries with Sharia law. Daniel Haqiqatjou. Okay. So, you made 2 points, and 2 points were stupid. First of all, you blamed all the destruction in Afghanistan to human rights. What are you talking about, my friend? Your ideology, radical Islam, attacked New York in 9/11 and provoked the reaction. And secondly, his point is very clear, my friend. What he's saying is that what we see in the world, that Muslims, including yourself, including your parents, you idiot, that immigrated from Iran and went to New York for a better life, prefer countries with human rights. On the other hand, we haven't seen any huge immigration from secular countries to Sharia rule countries. Have we seen any? No, we haven't. Guys, it's impossible to make justice to the stupidity of this idiot. Okay, it's impossible. Okay, in one video. Guys, what I've shown you now is every argument, every 5 seconds. This kind of stupidity, every 5 seconds, guys. This idiot thinks that he wins debates. Daniel, if you debate me, my friend, one day when I have subscribers, I will intellectually rape you, my friend. You are the only person that actually annoys me. Okay? Not just because you are that levels of stupid, you are also evil, my friend. That is what annoys me the most? Or I don't know. I don't know what annoys me the most. Your stupidity or your evilness. Anywho. Okay, closing this video, we will see how Daniel Haqiqatjou became a super villain or something like that.
Islam is what can produce human happiness in this life and salvation in the next. So it's universalist in that these values should spread.
These values are here. Daniel Haqiqatjou is a guy that dreams a world where Islam will dictate all aspects of social life in a totalitarian way. At the same time, he will enforce Islam to the world with offensive jihad the same way the UN is enforcing human rights. That is what he says. Okay, it's exactly what an evil villain would have said. Islam, the religion that makes regular people speak like evil villains from the Magneto. Islam made Daniel Haqiqatjou the Magneto. like in Batman, you know, there is a sad story behind every villain. The tragic story how Daniel became a villain is he read the Quran. Joker fell into acid. Daniel just read the Quran. He was walking and suddenly he saw a book and he said, "What's that? Let me read the first page." Oops! And he became Magneto. Very funny.
And sometimes that requires imposition.
Is this the love of a hero sending to you? Ow! Ow! And they say, hero could save us. I'm not gonna stand here waiting. I hold on to the wings of a hero. Watch as we all fly away. And they watching us, they're watching us as we all fly away.